Welcome to F1 Blogs. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into one of the most talked about topics in the motorsport world right now, the Formula One 2026 driver market. Now, if you've been following F1 for any length of time, you know this silly season usually kicks off much later in the year, but this time around, it feels like it started earlier than ever and with a real bang. It's truly a complex puzzle, with so many shifting pieces that could redefine the entire grid. Our mission today is to unpack the confirmed contracts, sift through the most compelling rumors, and truly understand the potential domino effect that could reshape F1 as we know it. Get ready, because this deep dive is designed to reveal surprising facts and help you quickly become incredibly well-informed about who might be racing where in 2026.
Yeah, it's an incredibly fluid market right now, and for genuinely fascinating reasons. We're not just looking at driver performance here. We have a whole new set of technical regulations coming into play for 2026, which always creates massive shifts. And then there's the confirmed entry of Cadillac, a brand new team, which suddenly adds two entirely fresh seats to the equation. So this unique combination creates both, unprecedented opportunities and significant uncertainties across the board, making predictions deliciously difficult.
Okay, let's unpack this by starting with the central figure, the ultimate domino in this entire game, Max Verstappen. On paper, he has that contract with Red Bull until 2028, a long-term deal that once seemed, unbreakable. But it's pretty much an open secret in the paddock that this agreement includes several performance-related exit clauses. So despite that long-term deal, his future is, surprisingly, anything but guaranteed.
Right. And what's truly insightful here isn't just that those clauses exist, but how this unprecedented confluence of factors has made his unbreakable deal surprisingly fragile. You've got the recent internal shifts within Red Bull, including the departure of key figures. Yeah. Then there's the untested Red Bull powertrains program with Ford for 2026. That introduces a huge unknown. On top of that, he's undoubtedly the #1 driver at Red Bull. But we also see Toto Wolff, Mercedes' team principal, openly, expressing admiration for Max. And Mercedes have reportedly approved the budget to make a formal offer. Plus, the relative performance of other top teams like McLaren and Ferrari also adds to the complexity of his evaluation.
Yeah, and Jenson Button, the former F1 champion, had a really intriguing comment on this that stuck with me. He suggested that Red Bull designs their car to measure for Verstappen, almost custom built for his unique style. But Mercedes, he said, would not do that. Now, is that bespoke car a luxury he'd simply want to give up?
Or is it almost a crutch he no longer needs, given his sheer dominance? Could stepping into a new philosophy at Mercedes actually broaden his skill set and legacy, proving he can win in any machinery?
That's a critical question, isn't it? And it really gets to the heart of a driver's psyche. Verstappen undeniably thrives in an environment where the car is tailored to him, giving him that ultimate edge. If you were to move to Mercedes, you'd be stepping into a different philosophy, perhaps one that requires more adaptability from the driver rather than, sculpting the machine purely around one individual. The decision really hinges on whether he values that bespoke feel over a new challenge, a potentially fresh dynamic, or even proving a point. This choice, whichever way it goes, is the primary domino. If Verstappen leaves Red Bull, it immediately opens up the most coveted seat on the grid. That sends a seismic ripple throughout the entire paddock and triggers a chain reaction of driver movements far beyond just one team.
Speaking of Mercedes, if Max were to join, it would certainly shake up their current lineup, wouldn't it? George Russell and KIMI Antonelli both have contracts expiring at the end of 2025. Russell has shown incredibly strong, consistent performance, while Antonelli, despite going through what's been described as a difficult stage recently in junior categories, has clearly demonstrated his raw, undeniable talent.
Indeed. If Verstappen were to arrive at Mercedes, one of those two would absolutely need to find a new seat. The sources outline a couple of compelling scenarios. One is that Toto Wolff might choose to keep Antonelli to learn alongside Verstappen, which could potentially leave Russell, who's been a stellar performer, without a seat.
Wow, okay.
In that case, Russell would be forced to look at Red Bull, if Max leaves, of course, or perhaps consider a long-term project like Cadillac. Alternatively, Wolff might prioritize re-signing Russell due to his proven performance and instead loan Antonelli out. There are strong rumors of Antonelli being loaned to Alpine, which would make strategic sense as Mercedes will be their engine client in 2026.
Right, the engine link.
Exactly. This setup would allow Antonelli to gain valuable F1 experience without the, immense pressure of being in a top team's cockpit from day one.
That Bottas precedent is a sharp observation from Wolff's past, isn't it? He did something similar with Valtteri Bottas, loaning him to Williams before bringing him back. But does that truly de-risk the Antonelli situation for Mercedes? Or could loaning out such a promising, maybe once-in-a-generation talent create a new set of problems? Or even a missed opportunity down the line if he blossoms elsewhere?
That's a crucial point. While it offers a blueprint, every driver's journey is unique. The risk is always there that a lone driver might perform exceptionally well and become a target for other teams, or, simply find a better fit elsewhere. It's a calculated gamble on both sides.
And as if the current grid wasn't complicated enough, we've got a whole new player arriving that throws 2 fresh seats into the mix. Cadillac's grand entrance into F1 as the 11th team in 2026, backed by General Motors. This isn't just an expansion, it's a statement of intent.
It absolutely is. And the genius of Cadillac's entry isn't just adding new seats, but their shrewd engine deal. Ferrari will supply their engines initially until 2028.
Smart.
Yeah, it's not just a temporary solution. It's a strategic blueprint for how new teams can sustainably build their own power units, buying crucial development time rather than rushing. For a new team, the ideal scheme for a driver lineup is always, sort of, a veteran and a rookie, providing both immediate experience and future potential.
And Sergio Perez seems to be the preferred candidate for one of those seats, almost a given, according to some sources. His experience, his marketability, his leadership qualities make him a natural fit for a new project like this. There's a palpable conviction in Mexico that his announcement is coming very, very soon.
Yeah, that seems likely. And beyond Perez, several other names are circulating, and they all fit that in the orbit of F1 criteria, Valtteri Bottas is frequently mentioned. He's currently a Mercedes test driver, and his social media post with a Cadillac truck and a Texan hat was quite suggestive. Mick Schumacher, who's doing well in WEC, the World Endurance Championship with Alpine, has also confirmed negotiations with Cadillac. Then there's Juan Yuzu, noted as a potential rookie, and notably represented by Graham Lone, who is Cadillac's team principal and Mick Doohan's father. Plus, the Ferrari engine connection is also a factor there for Yuzu. This shows they prefer drivers with existing F1 ties, ruling out direct jumps from IndyCar or NASCAR. We saw Colton Herta's super license issues as a recent example of that hurdle, didn't we?
Yeah, that didn't work out. And the timeline is getting tight, isn't it? Cadillac needs to have at least one driver resolved by October for testing purposes.
That's right.
Which means things could move quickly in the coming months. Okay, shifting gears now to Alpine. Their future looks a bit, uncertain due to potential changes in ownership structure and leadership. Pierre Gasly does have a multi-year contract for 2026, which brings some welcome stability to one side of their garage, but the other side. That's where the questions begin.
Precisely. The real uncertainty lies with Franco Colapinto. He initially had a 5-year contract ceded from Williams to Alpine, but apparently his situation has morphed into a rolling or race-by-race evaluation. So his continuity for 2026 depends entirely on his performance or Alpine's internal decisions, especially given how uncompetitive their current car is.
Right. The pressure on him to elevate his level must be immense.
It is.
Flavio Briatore is apparently keen for Colapinto to stay, but as you said, the performance needs to be there.
Absolutely. If Colapinto doesn't secure the seat, Alpine has a few possible alternatives. We've already discussed the potential loan of Antonelli from Mercedes, especially since Mercedes will be Alpine's engine supplier.
Yep.
Valtteri Bottas is another seasoned name that's come up. But this also raises a fascinating and arguably more important question about Alpine. With all the internal flux at the top, will the team even be called Alpine in 2026?
Wow, that's a big question.
That's how much uncertainty is swirling around their entire operation.
Now, let's dive into Red Bull's infamous feeder system and their sister team, Racing Bulls. Yuki Tsunoda's contract ends in 2025. And despite his efforts, there's a general expectation that his low performance in what has been described as a difficult car means he probably won't be part of the Red Bull or Racing Bulls lineup in 2026.
You're right. Honda has reportedly tried to place Tsunoda at Aston Martin, but that's looking increasingly unlikely. Even Gunther Steiner was pretty blunt in his assessment, saying if Tsunoda doesn't significantly improve, he's out.
Ouch.
Yeah. It's possible his future might be as a reserve driver for Aston Martin with Honda's backing, which would at least keep him in the F1 orbit. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Isa Qajar has shown some outstanding performances with Racing Bulls, making him the most likely candidate to ascend to the main Red Bull team if Verstappen stays put.
Right, that's the key condition. And for Racing Bulls themselves, Liam Lawson has a contract until 2025, and there's a strong possibility of Arvid Lindblad, a young talent from Red Bull's junior school who already possesses a super license, joining him. That's a classic Red Bull junior pairing in the making, isn't it?
It is. But, and this is the huge but, if Max Verstappen does depart Red Bull, they'd face a truly significant problem. They simply don't have academy drivers currently at his level ready to step up immediately into that top seat.
Right.
This could force them to repatriate former Red Bull drivers like Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz, or Alex Albon, or even pursue someone like George Russell. It would be a major philosophical shift for a team that prides itself on promoting its own talent. Essentially a recognition that their junior program, while strong, hasn't produced another Max.
Interesting point. Okay, so to round things out, let's quickly review the teams that currently have stable driver lineups for 2026. It provides a stark contrast to all this silly season chaos we've been discussing.
Right.
It's a reminder that not everyone is, scrambling.
Indeed, some teams have their grids largely locked in with multi-year contracts. McLaren looks very solid. They have Lando Norris confirmed well beyond 2027 and Oscar Piastri beyond 2028. That shows immense confidence in their young, dynamic duo and a clear plan for the future.
Absolutely.
Ferrari's formidable pair, Lewis Hamilton, is set for 2026, and Charles Leclerc is contracted beyond 2027, a true dream team forming there.
Can't wait to see that.
Aston Martin has secured Fernando Alonso for 2026 and Lance Stroll beyond 2026. Andy Cowell actually confirmed them as a stable pair, suggesting Stroll's role there is more than just his father's investment. He's seen as crucial to their long-term project.
Okay.
At Haas, seeing Esteban Ocon and Oliver Behrman both confirmed for 2026 suggests a new era of stability for them. It's a clear departure from their typical one-year deals, signaling a team genuinely looking to build.
Good for them.
Williams has Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz for 2026, which is a real coup for them, though Sainz reportedly has exit clauses, keeping a tiny crack in that door.
Especially if that Red Bull domino we talked about actually falls.
Exactly. And finally, Sauber, soon to be Audi, has Nico Hülkenberg for 2026, who's crucial for development and recently scored that well-deserved podium alongside Gabriel Bortoleto. They're seen as forming a balanced and well-thought-out pair for their future as a works team.
So quite a few settled spots then, amidst all the potential changes. That brings us to the end of today's deep dive into the thrilling F1 2026 driver market. As we've explored, while we've delved deep into the most significant rumors and confirmed contracts, the silly season is far from over. We expect many announcements after the summer break, keeping us all on the edge of our seats.
Definitely. So, given all we've discussed, which driver do you think is most likely to make a surprising move, and what ripple effect do you anticipate it will create across the grid?
That's an incredible question, and truly the heart of this silly season, isn't it? The possibilities feel almost endless. And that brings us to the end of today's news and our deep dive into the thrilling F1 2026 driver market. If you've enjoyed gaining these insights and want to stay ahead of the curve, please remember to subscribe to F1 Blogs. Your support helps us continue bringing you these in-depth analyses.